Okay, be honest. You've been scrolling today, and you've definitely seen a video that made you stop and think, what on earth did I just watch? Maybe it was one of those floating heads, or a song looping over and over, or just pure chaotic noise. We've got a name for it now, Brainrot. We joke about it, right? Blame it for our shot attention spans, but what if it's not just random static? What if it's a signal of something way, way deeper that's happening to us online? I mean, that's the big mystery we're trying to figure out here. For years, it felt like the internet was just getting shinier, more perfect, more polished. So why, all of a sudden, does it feel like it's getting weirder, messier, more chaotic? What if what we're seeing isn't a glitch in the system, but actually the internet's hidden, unconscious self finally breaking through to the surface? And this slide just lays it out so perfectly. On the left, that's the internet we've all known for the past decade or so. We can call that the persona internet. You know the vibe. Perfect, filtered, aspirational. It's the life you're supposed to want. And on the right, well, that's its total opposite. It's raw, unfiltered, completely nonsensical. This is the internet's shadow. It's all that messy, bizarre stuff we say is rotting our brains. Now, to really understand what's happening, we need to go back in time. And not to the beginning of the internet. No, we need to go back to the early 20th century to a psychologist named Carl Jung. I know, it sounds a little weird, right? But trust me, his ideas about the human mind are pretty much the perfect key to unlocking why your feed looks the way it does today. So first, Jung gave us this concept he called the persona. Just think of it like your public mask. It's that polished, idealized version of you that you show to the world. And for years, social media was built like 100% around this idea. Every single Instagram post, every LinkedIn update, it was all about crafting that perfect, flawless persona. But, and this is the kicker, Jung said that for every perfect persona, there's also a shadow. The shadow is everything we push down and hide away because it just doesn't fit with that perfect mask. It's our weird impulses, our aggressive thoughts, our nonsensical, chaotic side. It's the part of us that isn't exactly polite or presentable for the public. And here's the crucial warning from Jung himself. He said the more you ignore your shadow, the more you try to suppress it, the stronger and more powerful it gets, lurking in the background. It doesn't just disappear, it waits, and it finds a way to erupt. So this is the main idea. Brainrot is the internet's collective shadow finally bursting out. After all those years of pushing down anything messy or imperfect to build up this polished persona, the pendulum is swinging all the way back. And it's all being fueled by algorithms that couldn't care less about beauty or perfection. They only care about one thing, engagement. They promote the stuff we just can't look away from. Okay, so we've got the psychological reason why, but how does this content actually hijack our brains on a, biological level? Let's get into the neuroscience a bit, because it all creates what you could call a perfect psychological storm. What's so fascinating here is how it breaks down into this simple three-step cycle. First, you're scrolling, and all that scrolling just exhausts your prefrontal cortex. That's the logic and focus part of your brain. Then, your brain's little error detector, the anterior cingulate cortex, it starts to kind of give up. You stop questioning things. And finally, that creates this vacuum where your shadow self, that part of you that craves raw, unfiltered, weird stuff, it just grabs the steering wheel. You're not even asking, why am I watching this anymore? You're just watching. But this brings up a massive question. Why now? Why is this explosion of weird, chaotic content happening specifically in 2026? Well, the answer isn't just in our heads, it's in our culture. To put it really simply, we've hit a wall. We've reached peak persona. After years and years of escalating perfection online, from simple photo filters to completely flawless AI content, our collective psyche is basically screaming for something that feels real again, even if that real is just humanly weird. And this timeline really tells the story, doesn't it? It all started with simple filters back in 2012 that grew into peak influencer culture, where everything had to be aspirational. By 2023, AI gave us the power to create impossible perfection. And now, in 2026, we are living through the inevitable backlash. It's this huge collective rejection of that sterile, polished world. There's actually a very old alchemical term for this exact thing, nigredo. It describes a stage of decomposition, of blackness, kind of like a dark night of the soul. But here's the thing, it wasn't seen as the end. It was seen as a necessary phase of decay that had to happen before something new and better could be born. Maybe brain rot is just the internet's Negredo phase. So let's tie all of this together. We've got the psychology of the shadow, the neuroscience of a tired brain, and the cultural backlash against perfection. So what's the final verdict on all this brain rot? First things first, and this is really important, let's just debunk that core fear. This is not evidence that we're all losing our minds or getting dumber. The evidence actually points to something totally different. What we're witnessing is authenticity, just in its rawest, most unfiltered form. This isn't some kind of intellectual decline. It's just the internet finally dropping its polite, curated mask and showing us the messy, chaotic, and yeah, sometimes bizarre reality that's been hiding underneath this whole time. So the big takeaway here, the one thing to remember the next time you're scrolling is this. The rot we're all so worried about, it's not actually happening inside our heads. It's the persona mask of the internet finally cracking and falling away, revealing the strange, complex, and fascinating shadow that was always there, just waiting. So I'll leave you with this final thought. The next time a piece of pure brain rot pops up on your screen, don't just scroll past. Take a second and ask yourself, is this really just meaningless noise? Or is it reflecting back at me a little piece of that beautiful, bizarre chaos that all of us try so hard to keep hidden?